Thank you for everyone who's joining. I can see Amanda Hitt, thank you for joining us. Craig Watts, great to see you. Elena, Elliot Roseman, nice to see you in here. Palumi, Valerie. I'm just going to give a minute for everybody to join in. Thank you so much for joining us to have a little conversation about our farm transitions program with the lovely Mr. Bill Ferguson and our farm transitions director, Angela DeFreitas. All right, as the room fills up, we've got about 20 people now. I'm going to give it just about another 30 seconds before I do introductions. Lisa, nice to see you. Aline, great to see you on here. Belinda, welcome. Brent, nice to see you. I'm going to take care of a couple of housekeeping things right off the top. First, I want to thank our sponsor, Dr. Bronner's, for making this event tonight possible. Thank you to the wonderful team at Dr. Bronner's. I also want to thank every one of you for joining. As we talk about farm transitions, we talk a little bit about the history of the program, as well as the pilot transition that we just completed, and where we're going from here. As we talk, as Angela and Mr. Bill share their experiences, feel free to put your questions into the Q&A section. We'll have about 10 or 15 minutes for questions at the end. If you want to go back to something or reference something, this meeting is being recorded, so you'll be able to catch this on YouTube starting Thursday, and you will all receive a link to that once it's live. All right, so with that being said, I am going to toss it over to Angela DeFreitas. Angela is our Director of Farm Transitions. Angela has over 3 decades of experience in organics and agriculture, and she is currently our Farm Transitions Director, so she leads the entire program, and she's been working with Mr. Ferguson for, I want to say, the last 18 months, almost 2 years. Doing this transition. It's been a long road, not always a straight line, but it has been an incredible story, and you're going to get to see the incredible results of all of that work tonight. So without further ado, Angela, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I just want to apologize for my voice. I've been a little bit unwell, and hopefully I can make this through without coughing too much. Can you all see me? Because I am not seeing myself. So am I there? Okay. Okay, good. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here tonight, and thank you so much for joining us. It's been a long 18 months coming to be able to tell this story. And just briefly to give you a history of our program, Animal Outlook started looking into what it might look like to support farm transitions back in 2017. They came to this realization through the work with their litigation and legal department that there was not support for farmers, and that farmers are an integral role in trying to remove farmed animals from our agricultural production systems. They took the time to really develop and do a lot of research to put together a blueprint, which essentially outlines the steps that we go through in ensuring a successful transition. And additionally, they had a pilot program that they did with Miyoko's, where they worked with a dairy farm. And so with all this experience and time that they put together, when I came on board approximately 2 years ago, the idea was to implement. And that is what we've been doing the last 2 years. We've been implementing the blueprint of the farm transition program. And Bill is our very first case project. And so we're happy to be able to share that with you tonight. Just briefly, I'm going to tell you who Bill Ferguson is. Bill is a farmer in Southeast Alabama. He's been a farmer for 50 plus years, and a poultry farmer for about 23, of which the last 3, he was a contract farmer with Tyson. He really is an entrepreneur and a leader in his community, and he is now transitioning into lettuce through our farm transition program. So what we're going to do tonight is Warren has got a slideshow that he will put up probably 1 or 2 times, so you'll be able to see just some visuals of what the transition kind of looked like. And I will be asking Bill some questions to kind of guide our conversation, interview style. And so we're going to get started. So, Bill, would you tell us just a brief history of your experience in poultry farming and why you decided to transition out of poultry production?
Well, poultry farming, in 1999, we had just gone through a very hard period of time. We were basically broke, but that's not unusual for farmers. It's kind of like if you win $1 million in the lottery, what do you do with it? Well, you farm until it's gone. And that's kind of what we had done. And a poultry company put in a plant about 45 miles from us, and they brought us all the paperwork on it. It looked good, looked like something we could make a living. We were having trouble at that time making a living on the farm, and this looked like a good source of income, and we got into it. Now, I'll be honest, the first 20 years were not that bad. I did not like the poultry business. It's a cruel business. It's hard to do some of the things you have to do in it, but it did provide a living for me and my family. And from that standpoint, every time you go to the bank, it's a good thing. And the poultry business was good to us for 20 years. And the company we were growing for was Keystone Foods, and Keystone really wasn't bad to work with because you could talk to them if you had a problem. You could talk to them, and they would help you solve the problem. And then a company called Tyson Foods bought out Keystone, and Tyson is a different corporation altogether than Keystone was. You could not work with them. I had grown chickens for over 20 years. And, in 20 years, you learn a little bit about growing chickens. And they told me I didn't know anything. You're going to do it the way we tell you to. Well, I didn't like their way of doing things. They wanted me to do some things that I knew weren't right. And finally, in 2020, I guess it was right after they bought it out, probably 2019. They came in and wanted me to replace some water lines to the tune of $50,000. And our income had dropped with Tyson. And I argued with them. I said, no. I said, show me some research. This is going to help me grow better chickens. And they said, we don't know of any research. And the plant manager, I asked the plant manager, well, why do you want us to do it then? He said, well, it's my opinion that you need to replace your water lines every 12 years. And I told him I couldn't do business on his opinion. My water lines were perfectly fine. You can clean them, spotless. I'd drink out of them. I mean, you can get them that clean. And I asked him, I said, what's going to happen if I don't replace them? He said, we're going to quit bringing chickens. So I made a call to a government agency that investigated them, got a call from that agency after they did the investigation, and was told you don't have to worry about replacing water lines. What they were doing was against the law. And from that point on, what I got was sick birds. They brought me the worst birds they could find. I think they swept them off the floor at the end of every evening. And they put me out of business. It took them about 2.5 years to put me out of business, but they did. You have to meet a certain criteria when you sell birds, and my birds were not. I mean, what they brought me, and I told my manager, I said, look, you can't make chickens out of feathers. You brought me a bunch of feathers here that won't grow. But they got rid of me, and I don't like chicken companies. And I'll be honest about it. They are not it's not a good place to do business.
And so what is it that finally happened that brought you to Animal Outlook?
Well, when they cut my contract, that also cut my income. Now, my income up until that last 3 years had been a reasonable income. And I don't mind sharing it. The year prior to Tyson buying it out, my gross income was $220,000. Tyson bought it out. The next year, my income was 179. I upset them. The next year, my income was 154, and the next year it was 99. Now, probably the 154, we were losing money because it cost money to run chicken houses. So they had me pretty broke by the time they pulled my contract. When they pulled my contract, I was without a source of living again, about 69 years old. And so I started looking online and I found Animal Outlook and I read the website. I liked it. And I called Animal Outlook and we got together and we started discussing, and we probably researched and discussed for at least 6 of those months, Warren, that we were doing research. What do we do with 4 empty chicken houses? And we discussed everything from growing mushrooms, hemp, strawberries. We discussed growing ornamentals, and none of this is out of reason now. I mean, we can do any of this. But we came up with lettuce. We found out about a farm to school program here in Alabama that has to serve lettuce everywhere, or they serve salads every week. They're sourcing that through a lot of their lettuce comes from California or Mexico. They don't know how it's grown. Health standards are not what they should be. So we decided to grow lettuce, and we're not growing iceberg lettuce. We're growing romaines, butter lettuces, leaf lettuce, no iceberg. And it's a lot healthier, and it's a lot growing in hydroponics is a lot cleaner, and the health benefits are wonderful for it.
So Bill, of course, I have seen the different barriers and hurdles that you've had to overcome to make this happen. Could you speak to what you would say some of the biggest hurdles have been and how you've managed to overcome them?
Well, there have been several barriers. The first is lack of income. And I've been very fortunate that my lender stayed with me. We put together a plan, thanks to Animal Outlook. We put together a budget and a plan. And we had some help from a couple in Berkeley, California that really helped us with the numbers. They helped with a lot of stuff. They did through the architectural plans. They helped with the budgets. And I got it all put together. I took it to a banker and told him what the plan was. I want to grow lettuce. And it was a pretty good sum of money that I was asking for. But we had it all documented. And the first thing he wanted to do is he wanted to have me build a new greenhouse rather than converting a poultry house. And that kind of would defeat the purpose of what I'm trying to do, because what we're doing here by converting this poultry house is we're showing that you can take outdated poultry houses and use them for things other than growing chickens. There are tons of things we've already found out that, matter of fact, we're right now looking at putting in Dutch buckets to grow tomatoes and cucumbers in part of our house. We've got 10,000 feet completed, 10,000 square feet completed. That's phase 1. Phase 2 will be another 10,000 feet. And then we've got 3 more empty chicken houses. I intend on completing all of them if it's possible, and put something in them that's going to grow healthy and be more beneficial than what we were doing. Barriers, other than the money, I'm a Christian, and we never ran into a barrier or a problem that wasn't solved the next day. I believe God had his hand on this project. That's my total and full belief. Because everything we did, we'd run into a problem and say, what are we going to do now? And the next day, there'd be a solution. I'd get a phone call, or just out of the blue, somebody had an idea, say, let's do this. And it's everything we did worked. So some of those ideas came from you, Angela. Some came from Lexi and Seb in Berkeley, and some came from local sources. So it's been great. I've also got another organization called Hudson Alpha here in Alabama that has been a huge resource for us. This has not been me doing anything. This has been a team effort, the whole thing from start to finish. So.
Yeah, in fact, a big part of our model is, building partnerships and trying to leverage the local community assets as well. And so that's something that I would say we have really excelled at, but you in particular have been able to tap into a lot of local resources to support your transition. And some of the things that come to my mind are Hudson Alpha, of course, but also, excuse me, we've had the involvement of the research and extension of Auburn. We've had the involvement of some of the, your local Chamber of Commerce and different groups, other farmers. In fact, could you speak to just how the community has come together to support this?
It is unbelievable how the community has come together, because yes, everyone you just mentioned, Alabama Department of Agriculture. The first call I made when we decided to do this, one of my biggest concerns was, can you grow lettuce in a nasty, dirty chicken house? I mean, it doesn't sound too healthy. And so I called the Department of Agriculture and sent a lady down here by the name of Christy Smith. And Christy came, and I showed her the plan, showed her what we wanted to do. She said, yeah, go for it. And she gave me a few suggestions. And this place is clean as a whistle now. There is nothing here that would make you think a chicken was ever in it. We're still not finished. There's still things we've got to do. We've got concrete floors, and we're fixing to put paint on the floors. But yeah, the community, golly, everybody from Extension, Alabama Department of Agriculture, Hudson Alpha, everybody, and everybody that has come and seen it is blown away. They cannot believe this is a chicken house they're coming into. I had a gentleman come the other day who actually works for Extension. And I asked him if he'd like, we were looking at something else, but I asked him if he'd like to see the inside of it. He said, yeah. He said, I've got allergies. Do I need to put my boots and a mask on? And I said, well, if that's what you want to do, it's fine. It won't bother me. And he came in and he couldn't believe how clean it was. He said, I didn't need boots and a mask. I said, no, this isn't a chicken house. And he was expecting it to still have chicken litter and be dirt. No, we have washed this thing and washed it. That when we started physical work, first thing we did, we used, I think, 30,000 gallons of water and disinfected, wash it and wash it. And we washed every crack and crevice in this place. One of my daughters did that. Matter of fact, both my daughters were involved in that. And both my son-in-laws were involved in the washing. And I mean, it just went from there. And work hadn't stopped. It's not going to. So.
Bill, if I'm not mistaken, you're in the greenhouse right now. Is that correct?
I'm in the greenhouse.
So I'm wondering if you could walk over and just give us a quick view of what it looks like right now.
If you can see this, I hope you can. I don't know how to blow anything up, but this is the first bed we planted, and it is ready for harvest. See if I can get kind of close up. I think this right here is a romaine lettuce. It's a little bit younger. It's not quite ready for harvest. When we plant, we put a sticker on each wrap. Now this is floating in on water. It's styrofoam rafts, and it's called deep water culture. And there's 14 inches of water with fertilizer in it underneath. The lettuce, I mean, you can just pick a leaf off and eat it right now. It's that clean. Nothing there. There's been no chemicals put on it. No herbicide, nothing. Just what fertilizers in the water. Now here's romaine that is real pretty. Can y'all see that?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's as dark green as you can get right there. That's the first bed we planted, and it's ready to harvest next week. I've got Alabama Department of Agriculture coming to, we're going to pull leaf samples and test it before we market any. I want to know when it goes out the door, there's no kind of bacteria on here. That would kill me. I can't do that. And so we're going to have this tested this week. And I'm assuming everything is going to be fine. It looks good. I've sent pictures to several professors, and they said, man, it looks great. We've got our second bed right here, which is about a week and a half probably after the first bed. And then yesterday we planted the third bed. So I'm fixing to have like 12,000 head of lettuce ready to harvest here. Every week we'll be harvesting approximately 4,000 head. And here's what we planted yesterday. And this is all grown under grow lights. Now, the problem I've run into, and I just got off the phone with the marketing, or I gave a call to a marketing person that's helping me. We're fixing to have to do some serious marketing. Now, I'm a genius. I don't know if most people know that. No, I am, Warren. When I was growing up, my daddy told me every day, he'd say, way to go, genius. So what I've done, I've grown a crop here. And we really don't have the markets in place yet, but in the next couple of weeks, we'll be marketing lettuce. Anybody that's watching, if you need some, let me know. I'll drive it to your house, probably. We'll have to add some fuel charges. But
well, know, Bill, speaking of markets, could you talk a little bit about how getting involved with the Farm to School program was a turning point in making this happen?
Well, the Farm to School program, we've been to several Farm to School meetings, and the schools by law are required to serve fresh produce every week. And salads are one of the things they like to serve. Alabama legislature, of course, federal government pays for part of the lunches, but Alabama's legislature appropriated some money, and I think this is done in several states, that the legislature will appropriate a certain amount of money to incentivize the schools to buy local. Everything that the schools can buy local, whether it's lettuce, whether it's some other crop, whether it's tomatoes, any crop they can buy local, they get additional money. Now, it's not a lot of money, but the other part on schools, and I've had several schools come out, systems, the directors come out here and look at this. One of the things I have had school directors tell me that they have thrown away as much as 40% of a lettuce delivery when it arrives on the truck. When we deliver this, we'll be delivering within a 50-mile radius, the majority of it. And there's not going to be any lettuce to throw away. Also, when you harvest hydroponic lettuce, if you leave the roots on it, the shelf life goes from a few days to a few weeks. You can actually, if you'll refrigerate this, leave the roots on it, you could be looking at 3 to 4 weeks easy on shelf life. So there's no excuse for having waste except for what the children won't eat. I'm already talking with some directors. We're going to find some lettuce they'll eat. And we're going to combine that with field trips to where they would see where it's grown, how it's grown, we're going to get schools out here and get them involved. We've got several things that we're looking at, programs we're looking at where we can involve the schools and educate the children on healthy, safe food. And I think that's something that would be really important. But farm to school is definitely something that all states need to have and support what you're doing. You're supporting not only the children and the school, but you're supporting local farmers. And that's something good.
Absolutely. So while you're, harvesting the very first lettuce that's coming off and the schools will not be in session, what's your plan for getting the lettuce sold and out into the market? Who are you going to be, whose door are you going to be knocking on?
Everybody's. I'm not going to miss anybody's door hardly. We're actually going to a farmer's market Thursday. I won't be able to take any lettuce, but we've got some peaches and we've got some squash. We're going to have a presence. It's their first farmer's market, so we're going to have a presence there. We are going to be hitting restaurants. We're going to be going to grocery stores. I'm going to talk to the food nutritionists at hospitals, nursing homes. I'll go to the prisons, the jail, any place that serves food is a market. What I'm probably going to do on some of this first, I'm probably going to put together sample boxes, and we'll give it away to restaurants, especially. We'll take sample boxes to restaurants. Here, try it. See if you like it. If you have I want to hear good and bad. If there's something they don't like about any of it, I want to know. Because we've got to find what varieties people like the best. And we've got probably 10 different varieties planted right now. And I am, I'm brand new at this, so I don't know. I'm learning. And I will learn quickly.
I'd say it's pretty impressive so far, everything that you've learned. So, you mentioned that this is the first phase of the transition. So what do you see as the second phase? And then also, could you speak a little bit to how you feel like, in your projections, this is going to replace the income that you have from poultry production?
Okay, let's catch the income side first. Based on our numbers, this is going to way surpass poultry. Way surpass. I have 10,000, I have 20, 40, 60, 80,000 square feet of poultry houses. Currently we have 10,000 square feet ready for hydroponic production. That 10,000 square feet will more than double what we did in 80,000 square feet of poultry production, based on our numbers. And we did not use absorbent crazy numbers. We used realistic numbers. Phase one is to go ahead and finish. We've got just a little bit more to do in this first 10,000 square feet. Then the back half of this house is unfinished. I don't even want to show it to you, but it is unfinished. And right now I'm looking at Dutch buckets to grow tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers. I mean, in Dutch buckets, that just opens up another world of crops that you can grow that you cannot grow in deep water hydroponics on wraps. So that will be phase two. Phase three, we will move over to the next poultry house, and I hope we have phase two done. It probably takes another year to finish phase two. Phase three, I have a daughter who's a teacher. She is wanting to write some curriculum and do an educational phase. In phase 3, actually, we talked about putting in a classroom. If we can, I don't know how the classroom will pay for itself, but if that's what she wants, we'll do it. And give her a classroom where she can bring students and schools in here, have a laboratory setting where they can grow stuff. That will be part of phase 3. And then we're looking at several other things in phase 3, possibly aquaponics, which is where you also grow fish in with the plants. And the benefit of that is that the fish replace the fertilizer. You don't have to use fertilizer. It's more like an organic fertilizer. That is a possibility. We're also looking at ornamentals. We're also looking at mushrooms. It's endless what you can do it. And we have a high tunnel house going on outside, which they're starting construction on this week, which until we get the Dutch bucket system in, we will use to grow tomatoes, cucumbers, etc. And if you're going to grow lettuce, you might as well grow tomatoes and cucumbers.
The whole
we got to
salad.
have a salad. We got to have a salad. Might put some carrots in there. So there's a lot going on, and what I hope to see this thing do, I hope it to be successful enough that we can just expand it all 4 poultry houses. And also, I would like to see other farmers benefit from what we've done in that let this be a model. Hey, if you're willing to work, here it is. Here's a model. Yeah. I'll give you all the information I got.
You were mentioning earlier when you were speaking with me and Warren that you've had calls from other farmers that were interested in learning about this.
We've had one other farmer. Let me take that back. I have had several farmers that have visited it that are interested. I don't think they're ready to start anything yet, but I think they want to see how this works for us. They want to see a little bit of outcome. They see the input, but they want to see some output. And I got a feeling very soon we're going to see some. We're going to have something happen here good. So, and I think once we do that, then I think that this will be something that other farmers. I mean, they don't have to grow lettuce. There's other things you can do in these houses. They don't have to spend as much money as I spent. I learned a lot building this, and I can go in right now and show somebody how to spend. Probably I shouldn't say this online. You got me. You're taking me. My lender's going to see this. I'm in trouble. We could have spent half the money we spent and probably come out just as well. But I learned a lot doing it, and I like what we did. So it's okay. We're going to make it back.
So, Bill, I have another question. It was something that I was going to ask early on, but we kind of got onto another topic. You and I have talked about it, and I'm just curious if you could speak. I think people would be interested to know just like what the difference is between growing, chickens, being a poultry farmer, and a lettuce farmer, just in terms of the physical and the emotional toll that it takes.
Wow. The emotional toll from growing chickens is very stressful. You stay stressed all the time. You walk in every morning, you start your job. First thing you do is you pick up dead chickens. And that's not a fun way to start your day. It stinks. The bigger the chickens get, the harder the work is. I can't say anybody. I don't know if anybody enjoys doing that, but it's what they do to make a living. I have yet to pick up a dead head of lettuce. All our lettuce has been healthy and alive. I have been very stressed doing this, but I can see where the stress levels, once we get to a certain point, the stress level is going to go down. It's been very stressful trying to get this done in a timely manner. Warren and I talked about the fact it's taken 18 months, or Warren talked about it's been a long project, and there's been a lot of work tremendous amount of work, tremendous amount of research. The chicken business was easy in that you were provided all the inputs, but you had no control over those inputs. Chicken company says we put 50,000 tons of feed in your bin. Are you sure there's 50,000 tons in there? Can I go measure it? You take their word for it. And feed's a big issue with the poultry company, because that's where you make your money. The less feed the birds eat, the more money you make. I mean, the stress level on this right now is very stressful because we got a lot to do, but it's a different kind of stress. I sleep well at night, but I work all day, and when I go home at night, I sleep. So,
Great. Warren, what do you think? Is it time to jump over to some of the Q&A? I know that I'm just now seeing quite a bit come in.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Mr. Bill, I'm going to start with a question I have. How many chickens used to be in that space that you're standing in right now? How many chickens would be in there before you switched over your operation?
normally about 20,000 chickens per house.
Incredible.
We raised about 80,000 birds at the time. They sometimes in the wintertime they'd bring us a few more. Summertime maybe a few less, but they like it to be about a square foot per chicken. And that is when they get grown, you can't walk in there. I mean, it's crowded. I sent Angela some pictures the other day of some grown chickens. It's not fun. It takes a while to walk through them because they won't get out of your way.
This is amazing. That's you said 10,000 head of lettuce in there now?
Well, roughly 12.
12,000. That's fantastic. Let me I'll throw a question from Katya at you. Do you have any tips for starting conversations with other farmers who are interested in transition? And maybe you have some stories about other farmers in your community that have seen what you've done and are looking to do it themselves?
Well, I would have a question on that. Is this farmer still in the poultry business, or what are they doing now? And if they're still in the poultry business, the biggest question I would have is, can they afford to leave the poultry business? Because like I said, I could save somebody some money doing this, but it's still expensive. You got to have a good lender, and you got to be willing to work. But I think once the work is done, they would be. I know I'm going to be happier doing this. I can just see so many benefits from this. As far as starting a conversation, just ask the question, or do you like what you're doing? Why are you, if not, why are you doing it? If I could show you a better way or something that you could do that would be better, would you be willing to look at it? And my farm, by the way, is always open. If there's somebody that's got a farmer that would like to see it, hey, come on. We're open every day, and I welcome visitors here.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to keep the questions going. I got a question here from Belinda. Do you think that plant farming is better for farmers' health than chicken farming? And can you talk a little bit about maybe your experience being a chicken farmer and now doing this? What the difference has been for your health?
Well, I don't think I've been in it long enough to have a health benefit, but I think we're going to. I went to a doctor several years ago, and chicken farming is kind of like coal mining. There is a disease that is prevalent among chicken farmers called black lung disease. The dust, and you can't even hardly see the dust. Some people wear masks in chicken houses. Those masks don't keep the dust out. I mean, they'll help. But yes, definitely there'll be a health benefit. But like I said, it is clean in there. We've got drains in the floor. We can wash this place out. I have a great grandson that I've had out here. He was out here today most of the day, and I have no concern. I wouldn't have had him in a chicken house all day, but no concern whatsoever.
Awesome. And I know that this transition has been a lot of work. We've seen the slideshow of the workers pouring concrete and doing the entire retrofit. But as you sort of move now into production, is there a remarkable difference in one way or another in terms of the workload that's needed? Were you able to keep the workers that you previously had on your farm, or what's the workload for the new lettuce production?
Well, today I have a granddaughter that worked out here today and a hired girl that helps us, and they planted 5,000 seed. They were done by 3 o'clock, and I told them go home. The work is much easier. It's a different type of work. I mean, you almost can't compare the two, because picking up chickens, I mean, your main job in raising chickens is making sure they have feed, water, making sure the temperature is right. Well, a lot of that has to do with repairing equipment, making sure your equipment is working properly. The other job is picking up dead chickens. And because you have to pick the dead chickens up, or else you'll wind up with disease in the live chickens, because they'll pick the dead ones, and whatever killed them, unless it was a heart attack, will cause them to get disease. In here, yesterday we transplanted 4,000 plants out of the nursery into the grow room. And today we planted 5,000 seed into the nursery to start the next seed. They'll come, those seed will be up. We will transplant them Monday. That's how fast they grow. We planted the seed today, and Monday they'll be big enough to put in rafts and put in the water. Completely, it's just totally different work and a lot easier.
That's one of the best selling points I've heard for it. We got a lot of questions about sort of the technical aspects of the transition, sort of how you got from where you were to where you are today. One of the questions is about the financial side of things, and whether you had to satisfy your initial mortgage before the poultry barns, for the poultry barns, before you went to a lender and pitched this idea. This question is coming from Craig. Angela, maybe you want to field a little bit about what some of the common things are in terms of financial barriers that we see and how we address them through the program?
Yeah, well, I would say of the farmers that I've spoken with, Bill was very fortunate in that he did not have what I would say is a lot of debt for many poultry farmers, because it's not uncommon when, and Bill can speak to this, that going into poultry farming requires a tremendous amount of capital just to get the infrastructure in place. And farmers, of course, take out loans on that. That's part of the success of these integrators, is they put the financial, risk on the farmer. And so it is absolutely essential. Bill and I were talking today about how important it has been to have some sort of ability to support yourself and your family through the transition. And this is part of our program that we're actually looking at working with farmers that we know can be successful. And some of those criteria are that they have some alternatives. Maybe they have assets that they're able to sell, or maybe they have other small side business opportunities, which Bill has. And maybe when I'm done, Bill can speak to that. And I do think that it is incredibly important to have a close relationship with your lender. And honestly, in my experience, a lot of farmers do. Most farmers, they know, their local bankers, they've been working with them for a while, and they're able to go to them and have a conversation about, what they're doing. The local communities want to see the farmers succeed. And so I think that if we're able to bring them a reasonable business plan with reasonable projections, they're going to be supportive and find a way to consolidate debt and make the next step possible. And I think, Bill, maybe you can speak to your relationship with your lender, but then also about the work that you had, the sawmill that made it possible for you to be able to kind of, you know,
I did. I started sawmilling in 1996, and over the years, when I got poultry houses, I backed out of that. I didn't want to saw anymore. But then after we lost the poultry houses, I started back up, and it wasn't a large source of income, but it did provide some cash flow. Also, when we lost the poultry contract, I sold some assets. I sold some tractors that I knew I could do without. I sold a few things, some equipment that I didn't need as bad, and we had to downsize a little bit, but we had to look at the big picture. Okay, if we need that tractor bad enough, we'll buy it back down the road. But there were some things we had to do and downsize a little bit. But overall, my lender has been I've been living on borrowed money for almost 3 years now, and he's backing me 100%. I do have a good relationship with my lender. We had to, as far as having, I did not have to pay off previous mortgages. We were able to refinance to take those loans and reallocate the money different ways. And actually, I feel like I'm head over heels in debt. But when I started in the chicken business, we were right at $1 million in debt. And today it's not that much. It still feels like a lot, but not near what I was when we started growing chickens. I believe there are lenders out there, and let me jump track just a minute. I also read this week, and I'm not going to call his name, but there's a congressman that is trying to get some support for a bill to help transition farmers. So need to watch for some legislation coming up that might possibly help with that. Some grants that would help farmers, because a lot of the row crop farmers are in serious shape right now, especially in South, where we are in Southeast Alabama. Your peanut farmers, your cotton farmers, we're coming off 2 bad years, and this year is not looking great. They're getting a late start this year. We had an early drought, and a lot of these farms are coming off 2 bad years, and they don't need a 3rd bad year. So that's something I hope that we could see is maybe some legislation that will come down the pike that will some help farmers.
Great. I think we got time for probably 2 more questions. I will pick a question from our friend Ben, who asks, having been around a few vegans like Angela now, have your preconceptions of the animal rights movement changed at all, Mr. Bill?
That's a hard question. I am a farmer. Let me say this. In a way, we probably are closer in our thinking than you would realize. I have always been an animal rights. I do not like to see animals mistreated, any kind of animal. And I have been involved in animal agriculture. I never did like the chicken industry. It was cruel. It was inhumane, and I didn't like that. But I do believe that animals deserve kind treatment, and I think we're closer to thinking alike than you would realize.
Well, Angela, anything to say about your preconceptions?
No, I will say though that a story that has really stuck with me is that the first time that I visited Bill with TJ, Bill, if you'll remember,
Yep.
At the end of the day, we were in the truck going back up to the barns, and he turned to me and said, well, Angela, this has been a real surprise. I really wasn't sure what to expect from you. I thought maybe you would tell me that I was, horrible for doing this, that berate me for what I'm, growing chickens, and you haven't at all. You've just been asking questions and trying to understand, and how much he appreciated that. So I think that that just really reinforced for me like how we're allies, and that working together is the way that we move forward and finding the common ground. And I think that Bill's absolutely right. We have more in common than we think we do, than we know we do. And with, I think, each interaction and each transition, we will find more and more common ground.
Let me add something to that, Angela. A couple of weeks ago, my daughter made an appointment for me with a holistic doctor. And this holistic doctor is vegan. And I really liked her. She was really good. I tried to convince her she needs to eat some meat, but she wouldn't listen to me. And but she is changing my diet complete. And she may have me vegan before it's over with. I'm not gonna say she won't, but I do respect people's opinions on that. I have respect for everyone. So, and that's what we need. I'm just like you. We've got more in common than you can imagine. And one of those commonalities is that we all got to eat something. And if I need to grow lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers, I will. And I like that a lot better.
Absolutely well said, Mr. Bill. Thank you so much. Angela, one last question for you. Could you talk a little bit about what the future holds for the Farm Transitions Program?
Yes, so we are actively engaged with a couple of other farmers, but we are very much interested in exploring the other farmers in the area where Bill is that have expressed some interest. In fact, one of the ideas and our, theory of change is that we've gone into the community. Like Bill said, this transition is quite known. There are several people at the Department of Agricultural Industries that we can call up, the researchers, the extension, different, nonprofit organizations in the area. And so I feel like kind of leveraging what we've already built in that area is where we will have the most success. And so we are looking at going and speaking with farmers in, the vicinity of Bill that would be interested in transitioning, and starting to see who we will work with next.
Fantastic.
I would love to help you on that. That's if in any way I can be of help. If it'll help another farmer, or if we can help anybody, that's what we're here for.
I'm sure Angela's going to take you up on that, Mr. Bill. I appreciate that. I appreciate that's such a great testament to what this program means, that you're still willing to support it, even though you've gone through your own transition. So lastly, I think I'll ask Mr. Bill, question for you. You're the first one to go through this pilot transition of Animal Outlooks Farm Transitions Program. You have a unique perspective that nobody else has. What is one thing you want people to take away from your experience having been a chicken farmer and going through this transition process? What's the one thing you want them to take away from it?
The one thing that I want people to realize, there's more possibilities out here than you can imagine. Like I said, I think I said it earlier, Angela and I, when we started off, we just started making a checklist. What can we do with this poultry house? And we came up, it's endless. Don't limit yourself. And Angela is great at research. She has been, if I call her with a question, she says, let me call this professor at University of Florida. Let me call this professor at this place or at that place. The answers are out there. We've just got to ask the right questions. And Angela's good at helping find the questions too. Angela, I don't know what to do. Okay, let's see where we're at. Animal Outlook has been wonderful to work with. And they have really inspired me and helped me, because I don't think I'd have gotten off the ground without the help that I received. By the way, Warren, a check would be nice. But
Hey, that's my line.
other than that, everything else, I mean, it has been wonderful. It's been a good experience and a good relationship, I think. So I highly recommend to any farmer that wants to transition if they need help. Animal Outlet's a great place to start.
Well, thank you. I'm sure, speaking on behalf of Angela and the entire team, we feel the same way. Angela, I'm going to say a quick thank you to our audience that has joined us for this last hour. Thank you to Mr. Bill. Thank you to our sponsor, Dr. Bronner's, for supporting us through this webinar. And Angela, I will turn it over to you for the last words if you have anything you want to share.
Have you got any video? Have you got any video you can share?
I don't have it where I can share it. No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me share one more thing then. Facebook, Riley Creek Farms. Now, I did not realize there were as many Riley Creek Farms. You'll have to hunt for it, but you will find it. We are on Facebook, and we've got a couple of neat videos one of my daughters put together this week, showing the whole transition through the building phase and then through the first planting phase. And it's put to music, and it's a little faster than I like it, but anyhow, it's a pretty good video. So go to Facebook, look up Riley Creek Farms.
Great.
We will have a website, by the way, as soon as I get somebody building one.
Great. Well, I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. The support from all of you means the world to us. It means the world to Bill. And, hopefully we can continue to work together to make meaningful change. And Bill, thank you so much for your time, not only tonight, but for the process. Absolutely. And I'm just looking forward to what we can make happen. I see so much potential in the program for other farmers, and I'm excited to see where Bill takes his business. So on that note, I just want to thank everyone for being here and for your support.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Warren, and thank you to everyone that was listening.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. To everyone watching, thank you so much and take care.
Thank you. Good night.